Yeah, welcome once again to another Bootleg Identify stream. Hey, yeah, Morgan, thank you for dropping in. Just popping out some other, well, all the other invite things as I put it off to the last minute. Now I'm scrambling. But yeah, it's good to see you again. How you been handling tricks since last stream? Last we chatted.
Uh, I made garlic bread earlier.
Ah, garlic bread.
Yes. It was tasty.
I mean, I should hope so. It's garlic bread.
Yeah.
It's not tasty.
When?
Someone did something wrong.
Yeah, I pretty much just chopped up some garlic, mixed it with butter, spread it on homemade sourdough bread, and toasted it.
There's the last the Discord one sent out. It's a good question. It's when you're not prepared with an answer there, Morgan, about how you've been. I mean, I'm hopefully that just means things have been well. You haven't had to like worry about anything. Yeah, I just need to get the Twitter one out. We'll be all good to go. As you can see and hopefully hear properly, I've got a Rango to. Hey, Lonnie. Zach, welcome. It's been a while since I've seen you pop up my chat. But if you've only had the energy to lurk, I hope you've been enjoying yourself. Yeah, I'm just wrapping up the last Twitter side invite so we can get this going.
I'm just not talking much, or if I am, mic's not picking it up.
No, I just finally unmuted you for stream because you said you had to go back and ban that one person being a dick in stream with assy art. Alright, there we go. That's the last invite out. But yes, welcome one and all. Another bootleg identify when we're looking at various homebrew stuff I've found. And I can't recall if I asked or not, but are you familiar with any tabletop-based gaming? I know you did the Blazeball kind of side game in that other, sorry, in the Blazeball server. Brago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I brought up the last time.
Other than that, any tabletop-esque or role-playing heavy games? It's mostly just Discord shenanigans.
Wait, what? I kind of,
Oh, role-playing games.
Oh, have I played any?
Yeah.
Not really. Not a bit. By a bit, I mean a while. By a while, I mean I don't know how long.
Hopefully you're able to enjoy this at least to some degree, even if it's just the art. And K-Bonk, why aren't you authenticated? What? Oh, why are you like this? You were working like 20 minutes ago. Wait, unless it's just doing that for no reason. Let me see. It's still showing up on screen. Good enough. But yeah. Like I've said, the post, this month's theme is life and creation. And
Rickroll. I knew it was a Rickroll.
Rick rolls are the most classic sort form of comedy. And actually, there was one other thing I got to do for you, Barango, and that is get you a link to the Google Drive so you don't have to rely on the stream.
Oh.
Or what I'm sharing.
You.
So, long freaking program. It's a lot easier when you can zoom in and read at your own pace, right?
Yeah. Thing was unfortunately that the stream was going up, which I already knew because I had already rated it. Where's the thing? Oh, the community homebrew? Or...
Let's see. No, not in there. I've got a Google Drive thing which just has the images I've done. There you go. And it is numbered in the order I'm planning to do it, but we might jump around. We'll see. Yeah, for the chat, let's go ahead and get it visible for you. There's that image. I figured we'd start off simple with something you could easily jump in on. The maps. Well, I see that I also have to move the reactive up so you're not hidden behind it.
Ah, yes, Ataraxian Bear Sword Bridge.
Which is just, incredible names for the creator, Ataraxian Bear. So, very fun. Yeah.
Yep, that sure is a sword bridge.
Mm-hmm. I just thought they were all fun. Just kind of connect the light. It'll be more the other three after that. But Sword Bridge, it suggests the idea of just something big enough it'll wield at that, which proportion-wise is kind of looking like more of a dagger than a sword, just with how much handle it has in comparison to blade. So it's like, how big does the thing wielded that have to be, really?
I mean, it could be something like a Buster Sword.
I mean, could be. Yeah, I thought it was fun because, bottomless chasm, because there's nothing visible at the bottom. Just peel passing. It's a fun little encounter of just, like, nothing has to happen there. But you can mess with your players a bit by saying, okay, and, you finish up your travel for the day, exhausted, and you have to decide which sides of this ravine do you want to camp out on before you take your long rest. It's like, that's a question. It makes them think something might happen involving that bridge in particular. Moving on to the next one. The statue. The first statue map. It's kind of hard to see with this out view, but we'll look in, it's like...
Statue 1 or Statue 1?
Yeah, Statue 1.
That is a nice statue.
Kind of have to zoom in a bit for some of the detail, but it kind of looks like a Lamia-esque woman, just covered in vines, just from how long it's been here.
Snake lady.
But the thing that makes it really exciting, especially for a random encounter, is the Statue 2 map, in which 4 giant tentacles pop out of the 4 puddles surrounding that statue.
Cool.
Oh yeah, are they interdimensional? Are all the puddles in here just connected to some underwater source? Like, who knows? Who cares? Have fun with your players. Just throwing them off like that. I've actually done a similar setup to what this map implies.
Yeah, maybe there's just some extra dimensional entities that likes poking its tentacles out of puddles.
Yeah, just exploring with its like long suction cup arms, because that's all it has. Can't fit its big old head. It's like how sharks only really can interact with things with their mouths.
Yeah. Fun fact: if this critter is something like a cephalopod, then it's technically sticking its face through there.
Just giving the underside of that rock a big old kiss. Just get through there. Yeah, I actually did a similar setup to what these two maps hint at. Of like, oh, is this something valuable? It's like, oh no, it's a trap. In my game last night, as Lonnie can attest, they had to break into the underside of a cathedral. The underside being where there's a mad scientist lab. We won't get into the details of that. But they just stone shaped through a recently repaired brick wall, and they found what looked like just a treasure room. Bags full of gold ingots, platinum coins, gems, and a very elaborate wooden table directly in the center with a single Aladdin-style, like, just genie lamp-looking thing. And they're like...
Yeah, just an oil lamp.
They're just like, that's a trap. And I told them, it's like, what? No. You guys did that spell asking if there'd be any traps on the way here. And that spell said there'd be none. So, obviously, one of them saw through it without too much work. Everything was an illusion except for the table and the lamp in the center. Though there was some illusion over the table, in that there is a magic circle, which in 5e is a spell that can keep a bunch of types of creatures, but namely like fiends and elementals and undead, from crossing it. So if you summon it in the center of the circle, it can't get out. And genies fall under elementals, so they're like, that looks trapped. But it won't be able to get out of the circle. So of course they just go up, touch, identify it, and it's like, oh hey, yep, it's a lamp of trapping, and oh hey, here's this smoky, swirly figure coming out of it. The trap being that it was not, in fact, a genie. It was another fiend outside the room with illusion magic. Which is an encounter they'll be doing next week, because that happened at the end of the session, but you know, it's one of those little just gotcha traps that it could be so fun, just subverting their expectations. But yeah, you know, these three maps, they probably don't, for some people, carry too much the theme of the light and creation. But definitely closer to light. But that's why I have the fourth Ataraxian map, with the very aptly named Tumor Mouths.
Yeah, I saw that one. It's great. I love this thing.
Absolutely
like
horrifying. Mm-hmm. Especially because it's just the bright pink reds of the pits just really contrasts with the various greens and grays of the terrain. It's
Look
amazing.
At all these mystery flesh pits.
It looks like the sort of thing, it's like something is coming between the planes and just happens to be manifesting in the pits like this. So don't fall in. Yeah, these are for.
I like this.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. And they make a lot of map packs. Sorry, I just chose a bunch of the free previews.
If I were them, I'd try to like chop down a tree and drop it in there to see what would happen.
Oh yeah, just wood chips flying out. It's like, oh, cool, but also horrifying. Yeah, I figured toss in a few maps. I don't have too many opportunities to do that on these just bootleg identify review streams, but you know, they're really interesting, kind of fit. I'm like, you know, Ataraxian Bear does good work. Makes nice packs with like 8 or 9 maps, each with like day-night options for variety. They do good work. Yes, Sarlacc pets, exactly, honey. Yeah, from moving on from that, next I have critical crafting, which is the COC images with like the parrot bear.
Yeah, I love this one. It's so shaped.
Yeah, a nice variation on the owl bear. It looks cute, and with the lore they have, and I think it's the second one here. And the second
Honestly,
one,
I'd be more threatened by a parrot bear than by an owl bear.
oh yeah, parrots are much more long-lived too, so they'd probably be wiser as well.
And I'm not just talking about the fact that they're, you know, more intelligent and longer lived. Yeah. Parrot beaks are scary, and also, you know, more herbivore leaning.
Oh yeah, and you don't mess with herbivores. Herbivores will fuck you up.
Herbivore is often a worse idea than is sometimes a worse idea than pissing off a similar carnivore, if nothing else because it's a lot easier.
Yeah, carnivores will attack because they're hungry. A herbivore will attack because they're pissed or threatened. But yeah, can they talk?
If you annoy a moose, you are going to die.
Yeah, going through the lore, Lonnie, it looks like they don't naturally have the gift of speaking, but I mean, for fun as a DM, why not let them? Even if it's just classic pirate stuff like, probably want a cracker, but just deeper and more gravelly, because bear.
I like the parrot bears.
I'll read off some of this lore that I really enjoy, just because it goes in more depth they really needed to than just Instead of an owl, it's a parrot. Enjoy the bright colors. These things are exported because of their usually gentle demeanor, colorful plumage, and ability to mimic sounds they hear. Parrot bears are some of the most sought after pets in all the realms. In many cases.
Intelligent and long-lived.
Oh, yeah. Then these, let's see. In many cases, the fast growing parrot bear outgrows the confines of a small home. Its constant mimicry and chattering can cause a great deal of annoyance. Many often, parrot bears are later abandoned after a few months or years as pets, mimicking how parrots are not great first time pets, especially as far as birds go. They can do amazing things, but you gotta keep them entertained, or, well, they'll find their own entertainment. The disheartening fact about parrots, if they get understimulated, they will just start ripping out their own feathers. They need stuff to do. But in regards to Critical Crafting's own lore, they have a place called Bloodkeep, and in Bloodkeep, there are infinite instances of flocks of abandoned parrot bears roaming the streets, some foraging in market stands for fruit so difficult to find from their native regions. In some areas, the export of parrot bears have been so extensive that the population of their local regions struggle, their numbers dwindling. Again, mimicking real life, and also more detail than they had to go to for just cool-looking owlbear.
Yeah.
But the other lore thing that I really enjoy because they're a pirate favorite. While many parrot bears are kept as pets, pirates have a special affinity for taking on these colorful creatures. Possessing a baby parrot bear is often seen as a status symbol among pirates, and often these gentle creatures are turned into cunning or killing machines, obeying the commands of a powerful captain. There are few things more terrifying on the high seas than a parrot bear leaping onto a deck, pirate captain firing blunderbusses and swinging a cutlass as the creature mauls its way through a ship. They're just very fun. And finally, the stat block form, which isn't too much crazier than the normal owlbear. Getting a dazzling display because of how colorful they are. And a little bit of a swim speed because, pirate stuff. But yeah, one of the things I really like about Critical Crafting stuff is they also do, like, adventure modules. And as part of that, also some matching STL files for 3D printers to make your own figures. Like, here is let's see, Old Chap Ettercap, which is a recurring NPC in their campaigns, a merchant of sorts. And they actually also have a module thing.
Ettercap, who is a friend.
Yes. And one of the adventures they released referencing him, all of them come with maps and a few stat blocks that are relevant. Old Chap Ettercap's Dino Safari, which just has this beautiful feathered T-Rex on the cover.
Love that.
It's like you got some of the lizardy skin, but also the bright plumage. It's like, oh, beautiful.
Fluffy. Danger. Danger creature. What a lovely beast.
Yet the players will still say, I want to ride it. Which, fair. I do like the little twist they have. It's kind of got layered spiky folds of sorts. Not quite sure if it's like armor or not, but it just looks so good. Yeah, moving on from there to tie in the Parrot Bear's backstory of animal companions, especially for pirates, an interesting feat called Superior Familiar. It's a what are they called? Half feats?
It's so horrible.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'm having this feat sandwiched between two potential familiar stuff. Yeah, it's a Superior Familiar as a feat is one of the half feats where you get a little boost to one of your stats. But the fun thing is, a free casting of Find Familiar, which is always nice. and when summoned in this way, its hit point maximum goes up, which is great because most familiars have like one or two much single digits health. Really easy to take out, but freaking 4 times your level. Yes, I am a level 20 barbarian, and here is my pet that I only have because of one feat, with 1/3 of my health.
Which is still a lot of health, I assume.
Oh yeah, especially because as a reaction to your familiar taking damage, you can grant resistance to all of it. Hence the barbarian example. It's like I can resist damage, and by virtue of being my pet, they can resist damage. That's not how it works. It is now. So the fun things you can do.
Love that.
And honestly, it is the kind of feat 5e in particular needs. Because, I mean, some people want familiars just for having a pet. The fact that it's so resummonable, some DMs can get sadistic about it.
Oh no.
Let's see. Your character in particular, no. Mostly because parrotbears are not a native yet. But no, it's I don't think the stat block's really made for. Yeah, no, it's not really balanced for a familiar, but there could definitely be some what is it called? Edits made to existing
critters that are basically smaller versions of owlbears and stuff, where it's
oh yeah, like a bear cub size thing.
Oh, I was more thinking like smaller critter that is the same sort of mammal bird hybrid as an owlbear, rather than the sort that's like
I mean, it's not too hard, especially because the wonderful homebrew community has made a whole bunch of alternate familiar type options. It's just all about having a DM that lets you use them. Back ahead to the other side of the familiar, the one you were talking about, I'm sure, was the Barrel of Chimera Creation.
Oh, of course.
With the, honestly, I like this person who is only on the Reddit, sorry, on some of the Reddits. They don't have anything like rarity or any suggested values or stuff, but just they hand draw it. They have fun lore that as a DM could be very interesting to try and figure out how to make work. Barrel of Chimera Creation, it's like, hey, create your own fucked up familiar combination. You want to get, yeah, want your own parrot bear? Well, get a bear cub, get a parrot, and there you go. I did like the flavor thing they did for the frickin' Ratterfly here, though. That looks absolutely Pokemon coated.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see. This item they have, it just says it's at least 2, but no more than 4 creatures inside the barrel. Roll it down a hill, specifically, to make it work. Creatures inside will liquefy and be merged. Mm-hmm. I mean, you need that element of danger. The potential slapstick comedy of some unknown passerby going and it's like, hey, what's that coming down the... just slammed by this barrel of goo. And then the
And what happens if it just cracks open?
That's a magic item. They can't break from mundane means typically.
Well, yeah, but what if it accidentally opens, is the point.
Well, it just got one more ingredient on the person that hit it.
Oh no.
Like, man, you ever wondered how a monstrosity is made? Well, this wasn't one of the ways, but it is now. But also, it's just nice going back to basics, seeing people just do hand-drawn stuff. Is it perfect? Is it very clean? No, but it's got character. Character goes a lot in role-playing games.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I liked WarriorButton so much, I did get another one of them, the Skull of the Alehouse Drake. which is just a giant drake skull that you give it alcohol and they'll talk about history long enough to give you a bonus later down the line.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. They have as the skull of this particularly well-traveled drake animates when alcoholic beverage is poured over it. So, then later down just the bottom, the skull will only awaken after 5 p.m. Very nice specific details that mean almost nothing, but again, the character of it all. Did you have any other comments you wanted to make on the Alehouse Drake Baringo?
I'm kind of distracted because I started playing a video game.
It's fair enough. As long as you're able to pop back once in a while, comment on the art stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be some Warrior stuff at the end for actual mechanic stuff I picked up, but till later. Because the next one is the first item of the night, not counting the barrel of Chimera creation. That's more of a fun flavor thing. The Heartbound Therimoire, which I'm not sure what theory is supposed to stand for. I hope it's something like organ-based, because heart. But yeah, very
Maybe it's like the thing that came to my mind was a steam dirigible.
like not a dirigible, but a therigible. Which kind of goes off the style of several like rare legendary tomes in 5e, where wizards can to kind of tune to it and kind of quick learn various spells that maybe they didn't pick up. This one has got things that might seem a little conflicting. We've got a.
Speaking of raviolas, 2 of them are in my fridge right now.
Well, I'm sure. Sounds like you actually enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the...
So good, especially on fresh bread.
But yeah, this item has a few spells that are kind of conflicting in themes. We've got calm emotions, we've got mending, false life, very nice situational spells, but also bestow curse and death ward and enthrall, which is kind of like a minor mass is it a hypnotism kind of. But yeah, let's see. Aside from the various other spells, this book can give you on a temporary thing. It also has a unique ability. The Ruby Heart beating in time with your own heart. It also has an additional 45 hit points. Find it and take when use the caster take any damage. It's your reaction to have half the damage go to the heart. Once it's destroyed, it can no longer be used in that way until you replace it with a very expensive other ruby.
Which has to be heart-shaped.
No, that auto shapes is part of the 7-day process for it to take.
Cool.
That also means, like, even if you have some spares on you, you can't just slap it in a couple hours later. It's like, it works, I'm safe. It's like, no, you're still a squishy caster. Just accept it.
So it makes it less squishy by having its own hit points full, but doesn't regenerate unless you use a special item.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of mini creation. Automatic. I'm a very
really cool way of doing that.
Oh yeah, very expendable, and I think that's within the parameters of the wish spell to just create out of thin air, 5000 G item. And then a very similar item, the Chalice of Rejuvenation, which before I go too into this, let's see, by the Goblin Coach, brief just heads up that they use AI art in their pieces. Oh no, we lost Baringo. Back. Just the pesky laptop falling asleep.
Yep.
But yeah, Goblin, the Goblin Coach, all their homebrew stuff, they use AI art. As much as I have outspoken about that several other streams, I am allowing them and one other person who does it in this week's episode for a major reason that they don't actually take tips or anything like that. They don't sell any of their work, so it's not as bad, but at least they're not profiting off it, and they're properly saying it's like I'm using. Let's see, for this card, the Doll E AI art. So at least they're upfront about it. They're not trying to just make more money by not having a budget for art. They're just like doing.
What's the thing that?
Oh, the Chalice for Rejuvenation.
Yeah, it does look like a. It does look like it's AI generated, but that's one of the better ways of using that.
Yeah, I still have it up there as questionable, which is why I only have it because he sources it. Yeah. Like, if he's making money off it, I would not be showing their stuff at all. Because some of their other pieces, it is a lot harder to tell it was AI art. This is just like close-up headshots of a fantasy character. Or like a very, probably like hand-edited tavern scenes, just to make sure everything fits still. But you know, this Chalice for Rejuvenation really fit this month's theme. It's very rare, so it's harder to find than that grimoire. And as an action, you can just plant it. Every creature within 20 feet can use their reaction to just get the benefit of a short rest, which by 5e mechanics is a 1 hour rest, gets you some stuff back, use some dice to do a little healing, but nothing huge. The other side effect of after its use, it disintegrates and becomes just a 5-foot cube filling bush, which every day grows berries that are the equivalent of the good berry spell, which each berry just healing 1 health and what is it? It's the equivalent of eating all of the necessary meals for a day, which is very handy. I think this combo would be very well with the Awaken spell. So then the bush is also sentient and following you around. It's like, oh, please, our meal for today, Mr. Brushworth, or whatever pun you want to do for the names.
I just remembered that a few years ago, before AI stuff became, well, what it is now.
Yeah.
A band that I now like trained. It made their own AI and trained it on their own music, and then had it spit out an album. And then they said, "Hey, this is our album. This is the album that was made by an AI that we trained on our own music." And that's the best way you can use AI for art stuff, I think. You know?
Yeah, only if it's your own stuff or properly paid for it, but it's like.
Exactly.
The problem is all the companies that aren't doing it for that purpose.
Yeah, it's the most ethical way to use it is to use it for art stuff is just train it on your own work.
Yeah, or even just like public, or yeah, not public thing. Yeah, public domain stuff.
Yeah.
Like all the ones who want to train on art, they're not doing it off of famous pieces, which they're publicly recorded because they're centuries old in museums across the world. No, they just only want modern stuff, which is where it's really so fucking greedy. There are some impressive mosaics out there in the world stuck to the walls of churches, but it's like if you could properly use that instead of ripping off people's hard work, why not? It's a little rant aside. That's probably a good time to go to the other yeah, to the other AI art thing, which is a PDF, so I have it up on a browser. So let me stop over that. Gonna need to include there, so it's still mostly readable. Which I think I put in there, the Runecrafting PDF. You don't have to look into it, but it's very obvious with the first image here that it was AI. It's like even this kinda like predictable pattern looking shape is not. Like this corner of the triangle, actually I can zoom in more, goes off weird, does not make sense. And none of these curves actually replicate any known runes, it's just kind of swirly for the purpose of swirling. But again, this person who is the Argotect, they reference all the art they use. Like this just happened to be something Midjourney spit out and they found on Reddit. But every time there's an actual artist, they credit them. Like here, this goblin kind of scribing on a sword was by Fami Fauzi. I think that's how it's pronounced. So they at least just don't make it all themselves. They're properly sourcing it and whatnot, which is again still better than just using the AI. So you can cheap out on paying people.
Exactly.
Yeah, with this, if you'd like to focus on your game for a bit, because this is going to be kind of talking heavy thing. I've talked the pros and cons of this crafting system. Yeah, as shown here, the runestone stones thing. It is a matter of three kind of interchangeable components to crafting things with this rune system. There is the having a rune in very specific purpose. Power levels met going from 1 to 3. Another one for the type of rune it is, like if it's something boosting your spell power, something boosting your defense. And it's got a big table at I think it's like the last page, page 3 and 4. And then finally the properties. Things that are actually infused with runestones you use with this kind of how you make the runestone properties. They each can only contain one property at a time. The higher the power is, the stronger the property gets. So it kind of has a self-scaling system. Make it easier. And here it goes, describing it still like base forms, because before the actual mechanic descriptions. Enhancement bonus goes from 1 to 3, just like many of the magic items, especially weapons and armor. The enhancement bonus can't go higher than 3 unless the DM says otherwise. Good to put that in there for the rule sticklers. And then slots. I think this is similar to the Final Fantasy game where there are a bunch of equipment slots. Some have more, some have less. Have you further personalize everything. The items have a number of slots equal to the enhancement bonus. So you put in the work for a +3 enhancement bonus, you'll be able to get 3 actual enhancements on there. It's very, very useful for some of the abilities. The way they have this crafting system involves 3 main steps. There's the crafting of the rune itself, which anyone can attempt to do so long as they have the materials and the skill. See, alright, that just jumps up to here, which comes down to like 3 scale things, so odds are within your group there's at least one backstory that could pick this up. Calligraphy supplies for the actual infusing, writing down the runes and whatnot. Jewelers to tools for that, like the goblin image here, inscribing it onto the item. Enhancing with the smith's tools, pretty much putting it into the item. And each of them just kind of have that tiered item thing. Using step, using a blank runestone. You have to know one runic property. Things you can either find or research in your downtime. To do the imbuing step, you need one of those infused runes, as well as an item that's gotten up to +1, 2, or 3. And finally, the enhancing, using a +1 or +2 runestone. And then it's got the nice price things, which I think they've got the value scaled pretty well, especially in terms of the time necessary to actually make them. It's like here, +1, just gonna hour to infuse, hour to imbue, still another 4 hours to enhance. And this is just for the enhancement runes themselves, it's not making the item. But the blank spots just mean it does not increase. I think they should have just put 1 hour on each of them, even if it doesn't change, to make it easier. Instead of making it seem like, that's it. Then, of course, the requisite DC table, where it gets harder and harder the higher the enhancement is. We won't go through all the specific things for how to infuse or imbue, because that could be changed by your respective DM. The limitations of imbuing itself, though, I think they did a very good job of how to limit it without making it feel like super difficult to do. Just gonna move the stream image over so it's easier to read this part. Item with pre-existing magical properties can't be imbued unless the DM says otherwise. So pretty much rules is written. Anything can be done so long as it's not already magic. You can't just keep making things more and more powerful.
Yes, that's important.
So the reason those time and money thing up there was important. Only one rune can be imbued into an item at a time. It means you can't just craft a bunch and do it all at the same time. You need that time every instance. But that also means maybe it's a long-term project. An empty slot is needed when imbuing the item, which means if you have something you're trying to swap out, you have to take time out first to remove the old property. Items can't be imbued with a rune with power greater than their enhancement bonus. It's pretty much with a +1 weapon, you can't put a +2 or +3 enhancement. So you can put +1 enhancements on a +3. Because that's just how power scales. More powerful things can take on weaker items. And then items can be imbued with runes of different properties up to an amount equal to their enhancement bonus. So what I didn't touch on earlier, get a +3 weapon, you can only put the same enchantment on 3 times. You cannot do 3 different ones, unless of course the DM says otherwise or says they're close enough linked. It's also because you're not supposed to be making like rare or very rare type items like that. You gotta put in the effort for it, and the limitation for runestone enchanting is just not having that much customizability. Imbuing an item.
I have done a thing.
Oh, a big powerful thing?
Sort of. More that I've unlocked a big powerful thing that will allow me to unlock a special final boss.
No, that is something worth celebrating. It's like, finally, we got the boss. Get closer to that true ending. Hee hee hee.
Also, I have a knife I can throw at people.
It is the greatest joy of knife, being able to throw it.
Yeah. It's a special magic knife.
Yeah, wrapping up rune.
Open meat.
I mean, I think most knives can open meat if used correctly. It's kind of
more than you.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, we'll wrap up the rune crafting rules they have here for just looking at some of the more interesting things that aren't easily done, at least the way 5e does it. Like here, aquatics and athleticism. Aquatics has to be on a type of armor, obviously, which is granting a swim speed. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you have to use a specific spell, or you have to go looking for the magic item.
Shit, best item in the game.
Yeah. Especially if you put this on freaking heavy armor, which is notoriously rules is written like a limitation to swim and movement, or flying movement as well. And athleticism, which is just also armor limited, but give boosts to doing athletic feats, which when they come up, not every character's like built for. Like barbarians get advantage when they're raging, but it's not the kind of skill a lot of classes really need outside of if you're doing a lot of grappling. And you know, bear hug can only go so far. But not advantage, but more just getting boosts on it. But it's just like, hey, I'm gonna bear hug you and go full on WWE, slam you over my shoulder or something.
Or something else.
I think isn't suplex where you have like. Oh yeah, you're right, suplex. That's what you're thinking. I almost described a completely different move that I also don't know the name for. Let's see. There's the Skyrim Classic one, increasing your carrying capacity. Makes this go really well for a quote unquote realistic campaign. The sim DMs will actually track carrier weight, which is horrifying. Just give the party a bag of holding or something. Make it easier on everyone. There's one other.
I unlocked a thing as well.
Is it another boss related thing?
Nope. This one's just a fun thing. Or a fun thing if you're like me and your brain doesn't always words.
Is it a dagger of guitar riffs?
It is not.
It's one of the funnier 5e items.
The next item?
No, if only. It's an actual official item in one of the 5e. I think it's the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's got a lot of goofy items there. It's just a dagger that makes. Pretty much you can use it as like a pick for some air guitar, which is cool.
And it actually functions and makes the guitar noises.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
Let's see. Here's the other item. Spell keeping. For the people who want to store spells, this is the rune to be looking into. Because when you create this rune, choose one spell of the spell level you have access to, which it maybe needs a limit on there, so you can't just store like a wish spell in something. But that spell is kept within an item imbued with runic property. On this way, spell held in this way can be cast once per long rest. Hence why a maximum level thing might be necessary. You're not getting a free 9th level spell every day. Yes, I wish to change the fabric of reality. And another 8 hours, I'll do it again. Yeah. I'll take a nap and then do so again. And again. Let's see. But I mean, if so long as there's a limit on there, like even 5th or 6th level, because that's when things start really popping off, getting weird. Additional enhancements of getting additional castings per long rest would make that very, very more fair. But also probably one of the top things to have someone enchant. Maybe there's a big old quest about how to find this particular rune. But it's like, honestly, who wouldn't take that quest? Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, I do have one other PDF, but we'll get to that when it's more relevant. Jump back to.
Love relevant things. And irrelevant ones. Both are
good. And with the sum of their parts, they make up everything in the universe, whether relevant or not.
True.
But yeah, to tie into the crafting, part of that rune craftingness, we have the Artificer Grease Monkey. Is a subclass pretty much just letting you make a vehicle.
Cool.
Let's see
I love vehicles.
they really need more, not variety, modularity to vehicles. At least in how 5e has it set up, because it's just so bland. Like you either have super mundane like
explosion.
Explosion means someone's dying. Hopefully.
Yes, it did. The explosion was because someone was dying.
Yeah, I'm gonna close some of these other files. Just
make someone. I made a whole bunch of flies.
That's good. My computer's whining less now, but yeah. Flavor text for the Grease Monkey subclass. As a Grease Monkey, you have focused your tinkering into a specific kind of automation. A kind that can get you places. Whether your ride is blindingly dangerously fast or slow, steady, and unstoppable. Move around the battlefield in ways most people couldn't imagine. The Grease Monkey never runs out of things to repair. The feeling of the wind makes it all worth it. You've already gotten your hands dirty, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. Just from that description and the name alone, it makes me think of the Grease the musical. Just the whole Greaser gang and making Grease Lightning. It's like a very fun song. A subclass lets you do it.
What about Greased Dark Light?
Greased Lightning, the name of the car, and the Grease.
No, Greased Dark Light.
Oh, Dark Light. Well, considering it's in the age of like the Cold War, they weren't ready for making that yet. But with the power of D&D, anything is possible.
I am, of course, referencing a webcomic.
Yes, one I am not familiar with. Doing my best to rip off of you, but yeah.
It is, of course, Space Trawler by Christopher Baldwin.
I mean, just from the title alone, that does make sense for Dark Light to be a term in. Very science fiction-esque.
Specifically, it was referring to something called a Greased Dark Light Speed Drive.
No one
a better version of the Greased Light Speed Drive, because this one goes faster and does not require you to have psychic slave labor.
That is a benefit. Slavery is a bad thing. We found a way to not need it. The universe went, not you slaves? Ugh, get that out of here. I assume, of course, because again, I've not read that comic.
That wasn't quite how it went. It's more just people who invented it got into a bit of trouble because the person who had done the whole invent an FTL drive that requires you to put a psychic's brain in a jar thing.
Yes,
yeah, that guy thing. Was the power behind the throne. So, of course, there's a showdown later on. But more importantly, the Greased Lightspeed drive. The problem is that the whole concept of it is that it essentially
is also bad in a way.
No, Greased Lightspeed, you move faster than light, but you have to dodge every subatomic particle. Anything that you collide with is going to cause your ship to explode because you're moving faster than light and have functionally infinite energy.
So it's just more realistic light speed then.
Yes. So the solution to that is something called a space trawler. You've got this weird psychic subspecies of humans who live on another planet, and don't look like humans. Well, this guy figured out that how to mind control them and put their brains in jars. And long story short, a space trawler is a device that uses a psychic's brain in a jar to suck up anything in the cone in front of them, compress it into an impossibly dense state, and then use that as a power source.
That's actually not too different than the concept in what's the book called? Hunger Makes the Wolf, which is pretty much a sci-fi version of why unions should exist. Because it's these people who are just stuck on a desert-like planet. Uh, there's almost no water found there. They have to keep shipping it in. And there's conspiracy theory of maybe none of the people who've saved up enough money to move off planet were allowed to leave alive. It's pretty much they are reliant specific on the company they work for everything they need. And so it's really hard to even save up that money.
Planetary scale company towns.
The amazing thing is, it isn't until book 2 where they introduce the company store and the company credits instead of,
Wow.
Yeah. They were really patient, fucked up corporation, but they got there in the end. But no, the way they travel through space is also, it's more like genetic modified than finding specific people to slave thing. But it's pretty much they're designed to do all the calculations necessary for FTL travel in their head. They're just constantly trying to improve it, and at the end of the second book, very minor spoiler, you find out the main thing they're trying to find on this desert planet is the element they need in greater quantities to make more of these weathermen, as they're called. Because on top of being able to help with the FTL travel, on this planet and this planet alone, they can also control the weather.
Why? What the fuck?
I mean, it is a purely desert planet, so being able to stop sandstorms before they happen would be useful. But they only do that around the capital city.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, I just thought that was a neat little coincidence in FTL travel and using people's minds specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh, and space trawlers are also required for the whole, they've got Star Trek style material synthesizers.
yeah.
Yeah, those need extremely dense matter as input.
Don't like where that's going.
So if you've got a space trawler and you're moving faster than light, not only do you scoop up everything that's relatively small in your path while also avoiding anything too large to scoop up, which means basically anything larger than your ship, then you've got free materials, which means you don't need to order food.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah.
You can just turn that random space junk, the interstellar medium and whatnot, into food.
There's no lead in our food. It's been changed far enough so it's no longer recognized as such. We call it Newtonium. Don't ask any questions or you're fired. That is how I assume companies would use that sort of revelation of technological possibilities. But thankfully, we have a much more humane method of transit, if a little bit slower, because, land vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this subclass, the main mechanic thing is this arcane core you get third level when you get the subclass. It's pretty much, I imagine, personally, like the cores in a Portal. It's just, you hook it up for, let's see, it's about 20 pounds, and as an action, you can affix it to any large or smaller object, so long as it has wheels, treads, or jointed legs for allowing movement. It does not say anything that requires it to realistically make sense for those to work as such. So if you technically got just large wooden wheels, or just I don't. Oh, I lost my Ringo again. That darn laptop going to sleep on you.
Again.
It's like you're playing a game too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, not right now.
Oh, okay. I was about to go. It's like you're playing a game and it still falls asleep on you. Like that would be horrifically annoying for me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't do that.
So I was saying, right? It doesn't say anything about it requiring the mobility thing to make sense of working. By which I like to interpret it as if you just put a hinge onto wooden posts, you don't even need like a bungee or a spring system to make it realistically move. This core will just do it magically. So, yeah, I do like that they have different speeds and limitations on the different ways. Sorry, on the different things it's hooked up to. Like treads, they get 60-foot speed, which looks to be the slowest. But you can't knock them prone, and you don't have to worry about difficult terrain. If you have a single or two wheels, 80-foot speed, but 3 or more, 90-foot speed. Is for being able to do 90-foot in a single turn without being a monk or anything like that, impressive. Yeah.
D&D fighter has a 30-foot standing long jump.
Yeah, those builds are crazy, but so fun when you. But yeah, we were just currently on a Artificer subclass, the Grease Monkey. Pretty much get your own custom vehicle. Start off with I described it as the Greaser crew from the Grease the Musical. Let's see, we covered automation because it doesn't say it has to be a working quote vehicle, so long as it has something or looks like jointed legs, the arcane core attached to it, makes it work. All the different movement speeds here, some difficult terrain, but also here's build, which is a lot less specific about what it needs to be. But it's just if it's counted as light, a little bit faster, lower AC. Medium's got some higher AC, 14 plus proficiency bonus, and heavy. You're slower, but oh boy, you got a beefy AC 15. Potentially up to the AC 21 once you hit that.
That's a lot of armor class.
Yeah, just for a vehicle.
True.
But yeah, then goes in just building a vehicle from scratch, just 100 gold. New materials, 8 hours, which is pretty cheap. Bodybuilder, was that a recent thing or that was a while ago? Because it was a while ago, I definitely saw it. I'm just blanking on it right now. Let's see. A bodybuilder comparable? For reason? Then, I assume it is in Baraka's thing. Double check, make sure it's not something I just marked as red by accident. Oh, that bodybuilder. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking like actual, like working out thing for some reason. You know, the more typical version of, term for bodybuilder. Yeah, we're gonna have some interesting stuff next month, assuming that our schedules do not suddenly conflict. The next bootleg identify. But yeah, I just thought this subclass in particular was pretty neat. Ties in with the creation theme, but also just we need an overhaul of vehicles in 5e. And I don't trust Witches of the Coast to do it. Oh god, they really they did Spelljammers so badly it hurt. I was so looking forward to the book coming out and just it hurt me. It hurt me more than it helped. But yeah, this subclass just very fun, fills a niche, and also Artificers. So few subclasses, really. I think we only have 4 right now, at least official ones. There's just so many creative forces in what is it, Unearthed Arcana subreddit. It's one of the more tame ones as Reddit goes. A lot of people who are just real assholes there, but you know, the homebrew homebrew pages tend to be nicer. I do like.
Indeed.
But yeah, we're gonna jump over to just the improved Arcane Core. Wrap this up, subclass up. Let's see. You may cast one spell at a time into the Arcane Core. When you do so, the spell slot is expended, but the spell does not take effect. Instead, the damage dealt by your vehicle is now considered magical and gains just an effect of your choice. If the spell dealt damage, you get the damage thing. Choose to add 1d12 of the spell's damage type to any of the damage rolls made, which is very good. Just first level freaking magic missile, and you get force damage. Durable. If the spell is a healing spell, the vehicle gains a damage threshold of 15. Or drive. If it does neither of the above, you just get an extra movement speed of 30 feet, which is substantial. Let's see, it's not explicitly said, but I assume things like the druid spell Wither and Bloom, which both heals and hurts, you just get to choose which category it falls into. But yeah, very Mad Max vibes, or like I said, Greasers from Greece. Just being able to make your own customized vehicle. Something that could use something spelled out for 5e.
Indeed.
Next up is something I forgot to preload to GIMP here when we were over in the PDFs. Here's the folder. Grease Monkey did that. Tavern. Just waiting for it to load up to GIMP. There it is.
The new image manipulation program.
It's a very fun one. Let's see, fit window. Nope. Zoom. Image window. There it is. These two were added pretty recently due to some of the unfortunate comments and that have been made, at least on Twitter, that I saw about wheelchairs in fantasy games. Very
Of course, people have been making unfortunate comments about wheelchairs.
Now they shouldn't be there because it's fantasy, but also fuck you. What about a freaking prosthetic limb that lets you attack? You know. But yeah, the all-terrain leg, which on the when they posted it, they said it was inspired by Sekiro, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
And as with all the Loot Tavern's items, they describe a component for making it, give a rarity, and whether or not it needs attunement. See, in fairness, a non-folding wheelchair is a bad option. Yeah, it is, but I mean, who needs modern rubber though? You can just say it's magic, or it's magically made material. I mean, honestly, rubber trees have existed since the age of what's the age of sail? Colonialism? I forget the title for that period, but it's hundreds of years old.
Long before that, but
yeah, just the industrialization of mass-produced rubber that has changed. I mean, again, suspension is magic. But largely, it's not about how realistic they can be, it's just people saying offhandedly they can't fit, is the fantasy setting.
Yeah, no, that one's just not cool.
Yeah, those people are, I just mentally group them with the Nazis. It's like, you don't want to see disabled people at all? That's bordering on eugenics. You seem like someone susceptible to propaganda there. But yeah, I have two types of prosthetics to show off because Loot Tavern made two. The legs, see, themed with their Yokai Realms setting. It acts as a weapon that can replace your enhanced leg, giving a 1d6 slashing, 5 foot, very basic damage. A lot of weapons in that category. It's also modular. It's a bonus action while it's on, you can change it. The blade, your walk speed goes up by 5. Or with the claw and fin, as we saw here, you get either climbing or swimming speed. So it's a very modular, very. You can mix it up whatever the situation needs and be slightly ahead of the non-prosthesis wearing allies. See, the other one, as a counterpoint to the leg, is the hand. It's a very magical space look to it. Nice sleek gold or brass, the concentric rings. I just love the aesthetic of it. Like 10 out of 10. The Horizon's Reach being very rare instead of rare requires a celestial soul. Surprising not a eugenics issue, it's a realism. Magic can fix a lot, but it's not affordable. Yeah, exactly. It's about realism. People assuming it's like, oh, magic could fix it. It's like, yeah, but money can get your car fixed doesn't mean you always get it done ASAP. Money is a very limited resource, and sometimes other shit happens. Yeah, it's the people who say it shouldn't be in there at all that I say is bordering on eugenics. Because, like, if you don't think it has any place whatsoever, it means you are incapable of thinking what other people might need in media. It's like closed captioning is technically it helps the hearing impaired. While I have no difficulty like hearing at all, I like having subtitles so I can read along as long as I'm hearing as well. It helps me absorb that information. Only I could have special glasses that gave them to me in real time, but I also don't trust any companies that make such glasses. Yeah, politics aside, Horizon's Reach. I'm actually not familiar with the specific setting or a faction they made with Scholars of the Dark Dawn, but it's pretty much a very magic-heavy faction. What I saw at this item set, because let's see, this has pairs with other items in the form of a staff, a robe, and a wizard-like hat. Set bonuses on top of it. This prosthetic can replace and enhance your arm, and you gain a hookshot ability. Very Link-like. Let's see. Fires bound by a gravitational tether. Cannot be damaged or destroyed, so there's no worry of someone just going slash through the rope. You're now flying through the air with nothing to save you. Let's see. Gravitational anchor. Very much as an action with your hookshot. You can just reel yourself in. Or presumably, if they're light or unconscious enough, reel them in. I'm going people fishing. It's very funny. Shenanigans abound. Oh no, Link's got a hookshot. But it might be just because I played more Twilight Princess than the other games, where he has a hookshot rather than a. What's the other version of Clawshot? But yeah, it's the Orbital Binding, another action ability. You can send the series of expanding rings that are part of that prosthetic. Any creature within 60 feet. Let's see, creature does a DC-16 strength save or take force damage. A good chunk of force damage at that. Become restrained for 1 minute, or if you lose concentration. Pretty much a mini spell. Which is very fun, fitting the kind of magical aesthetic of this item. See, and then additional bonus action, you can just move the restrained target. Go full on a hook smash, fling them around the room at your leisure. Albeit 30 feet at a time. See, oh yeah, and I know Link's hook shot is prosthetic, but I mean, I wasn't expecting any game to have built-in prosthetic with hookshot, you know? I mean, games are not very great about being inclusive nowadays. Hard to think back ones that were inclusive without being just so subtly you could look over it. Like the fact that I have not played Bionic Commando. Yeah, these two prosthetics kind of fit the theme today. more heavy on the creation end. But yeah, I thought it'd be good to just get them out there considering recent events. See, the other thing. Oh yeah, well, but before I move on to the next, it's a very quick mechanic, but one of the good things about Loot Tavern is they do also have a PDF just accessible through their Twitter, which is just at Loot Tavern, a PDF for rules on prosthetics and potential enhancements. It's very simple, just a couple pages, but it's worth looking into if you want alternatives than just magic item prosthetics, which, as we pointed out earlier, it's not like everyone can afford the cool magic options or the magic healing. So hopefully anyone else trying to get some inclusivity, even just as a fun side NPC, that's a good way to, sorry, a good place to look. For the moment I need to close out GIMP. The other one, wait, actually no, it was a image, I just forgot to put it up. There it is, open with GIMP. And visible, there we are. Just need to resize it a bit. Yeah, this is an optional mechanic for DMs who are maybe running a homebrew setting, but don't really have a whole lot of like in-depth world politics stuff set up. Simple mechanic and how you can kind of do it on the fly with just a deck of playing cards. As it says, to create a series of complex borders depicting the alliances and enemies of nations, simply draw cards and place them beside one another. Draw as many cards as there are nations and follow the rules below. The way they do it, the rules are if it's the same suit, the nations are allied. In this example, that'd mean the 2 and the king are allies, means all the others are either going to be neutral or enemies. So if it is the same color, that'd be neutral nations, different colors being enemy nations. Which means we got this little coalition here of the 2 club countries, enemies with these 2 reds, which are only neutral. It makes for a very interesting political problem here. There we go. As we said, they are allies because they're both clubs, but they've got potential war fronts here and here. Because of the way the nation interacts right on this point, it also means it's very difficult for them to just go all in on one or the other. Very big war front to have to worry about. And potentially try and get this neutral party to help them out and pincer attack them. But yeah, part of the mechanic is also just a suggestion of that nation's current goal, the ways they can interact with each other. Yeah, I feel they got some inspiration from that as well. But, is it just a quick, sorry, from Brazen in chat, it smells like Europe, 1913. Just a complex political, not system, alliances set up, but not. And they also have optional things down here to kind of further clusterfuck them. Like here with numbers. Perhaps nations of the same number but different suit or color have secret alliances or common goals. They could also represent, if you wish, the hierarchy of power. See, a bordering enemy nation, for example, with a higher number may have a much larger military force. So for this example here, there are no same numbers, but the ones that do have an alliance, like the 7 native clubs, the suggestive goals here, number 7 just wants to export lumber, while 8 just wants to breed rare horses. And it could be that the 8 is just more important because it's a lot easier but more time consuming to breed effective war horses and whatnot. Hence why they have more, say, ability to override or lead planning over Sevenants just wanting to sell lumber. Let's see. While jokers, if you leave the jokers within deck, they could be used to represent a free state, or perhaps an unruled nation, or even just ruled by criminal enterprises, rather than a monarch or a council. Perhaps this nation is controlled by an ancient species, or a being who operates in inconceivable or mystical ways, like a country of wizards, or a purely theocratic. Be the wild card of the political turmoil of your setting. And the final potential option, dice and coins. Flipping coins or rolling dice and placing them on your nation cards to represent whether or not the area is welcoming to outsiders, under militaristic or religious rule, the number of vying factions within. Doesn't really go further in depth on that, but I could see it as like maybe one is more military heavy, doing like a d6, the 6 is more religious heavy and whatnot. And that could just be a further alliances, like maybe while these clubs are aligned politically, there's a shared religion, these diamonds here, just because they both happen to have the same roll of the dice. And honestly, when it comes to setting depth, all you need are the starting bits, the reasons why they're allied, and then you just build off from there from what the players need. It's like, why is there an assassin over here in the country of 7? Well, you already know the enemies they're at war with. You already know the different reasons they're trying to amass power. You just figure out a reason from there. Connect point A to point B, however you need to. Yeah, I thought it was just a fun little mechanic, useful for people who maybe have struggle with, because there's not a whole lot of prompts for like role-playing games. There's like maybe a 2-question prompt and that's it. It's just like, what does this inspire in you? And, some people can't work with that. Some people need something more visual or more table-based. Yeah, how do you feel about that, Baringo, with the different like uses of poker deck? Considering we've both played Balatro recently.
Oh, sorry, I kind of zoned out.
Well, I was just wondering your take on using a poker deck like this, because we've both played Balatro the last week.
Let's see, what's the thing? I got distracted by a game.
Just just drawing poker cards to use as inspiration for
Oh, the
enemy
Nation
natures.
Borders one?
Yeah, by Shieldice.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, nice little pre-made tables for any. Just need that little bit of inspiration. I, for one, can be dumb as fuck, but I'm also stupid. A little bit helps. Oh yeah, no, they the lists as they are definitely could use some work. So it looks more like they're trying to get as many different, like radically different ideas. Though I think these work a lot better if the respective numbers are not too similar on the map. It might be better as a let's see, like say the person did this whole Six Nation thing, but after it's laid out, they split the remaining cards into their respective classes and just randomly pick another for each one. And those could be the main ones. See, maybe export lumber also randomly has tame the wilderness, and then you can work off how those work together. Are they taming it by the deforestation? The one goal is feeding the other. I think just having the list period though helps people build off other ways they can use this interaction. But yeah, that is all I have for today. Many thanks, Parango, for coming in to help co-host.
You are welcome.
Yeah, some nice anecdotes so I could take some time to drink. I've been forgetting today. I had to work on repairing a toilet because it needed a new wax ring, and I forgot to eat or drink anything for like 2 hours while I worked on that. So some very helpful breaks today. Thank you.
You are welcome.
So let's see. The last thing to do is find out who is currently on to raid into. Because I know Val was doing an event earlier for a new model, but I think she's already done. Yeah, she's already done. Okay, let's see. Wait, no. She's still there, Oh, because she changed the icon. I hadn't noticed. Yeah, because part of the stream is just a birthday celebration as well. And it looks like she's still doing some, was it like Jackbox type games? Let's head over to her.
Jackbox is fun.
5 diamonds requires ACDC. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's things work out very well like that sometimes. Let's see. Slash raid, yeah. But yeah, like always, thank you everyone who managed to join us today. Much appreciative for you swinging by while I just share off cool homebrew I found. For those of you who have not noticed, all the videos on the YouTube VOD channel are delayed by 1 week. Just so it's less stressful for me finding the time to get all the timestamps and whatnot figured out for the description. Let's see, concepts, get the idea to expand to a Terra. Oh yeah, Terra Deck is another fun way to do it. But you know, there might be people who've already done that out there already. Might be people who want to more use the meanings of a tarot deck to implement there. You know, poker deck doesn't have too many meanings already tied up in it. Where's that? Alright, yeah. Setting off message. As always, hope you guys are taking care of yourself, eating, drinking, staying hydrated, especially because I know some parts of the US it is very windy, and cold wind is very draining of the hydration of your body, so stay on top of it. As always, till next time, hope you're just as healthy, if not more so. See you later.
Bye.